I just got a really cool piece for my collection, so today I want to talk about power morphers. I previously talked about the history of the Power Morpher back in a previous video when I reviewed the Legacy Power Morpher from Bandai, but today I thought I'd take the opportunity to talk about a few others, mainly because I now have all the versions, and due to a recent acquisition of my collection, I thought it would be a great time to kind of go over the different versions of the Power Ranger Morpher from the original Power Rangers series and the Super Sentai series Zyuranger. Just back as a little bit of a history recap, Power Rangers was based on a Super Sentai series from Japan called Zyuranger, and it was dinosaur related. It had some really cool props and costumes, and they took those, brought them here, put American scenes in, and then you had Power Rangers. Now, what's interesting is I'm not entirely sure of how the Japanese shows work, how they get their props made. Obviously they have numerous stunt props and props made. I did see a little bit of a rumor that oftentimes they will take a Power Morpher design, they'll go to the toy company, in this case it was Bandai, they'll have the toy manufactured made and then use it on the show as well, which of course would make sense. I'm not sure if that's true or not. However, it's completely true with how that works here. They would bring the toys over and they would use the toys. They would use the roleplay accessories for the actors to use on set. This makes sense. A lot of times the props, especially of morphers, do something. Whether they spring open, whether they have buttons on it, whether they flip open, anything like that. These things need to do something, and why not use the toys? But furthermore, when they decided to bring the toys here, when they decided to bring out a toy, we had a combo pack of the Blade Blaster and the Power Morpher. It came in a set. However, we didn't use accurate labels either. So because of that, and because of my recent acquisition specifically of the Zyuranger Dino Buckler, as you can see here, which we'll do some close-ups in a minute, I thought it'd be a great opportunity to kind of show the different versions, because there's been several versions now, including the original version, the Legacy version, and now the Lightning Collection version. So starting right off with the Zyuranger Morpher, it's pretty identical to what we got here, but I'll show that in a second. This particular one was previously played with. All the labels were attached to it, which is totally cool. So it does have the gold labeling at the back. It has the colored Ranger colors, top and bottom of the handle. Has Zyuranger on it as well, and it does flip open just like you'd expect. The high-pitched whining sound is interesting. It did come with a holster. Now this holster is seen on the Power Rangers show and on Zyuranger, where it clips in and then they flip it out and flip it around. And it's also secondarily used as a way for you to mount your Morpher onto your own belt with its two clips at the back. It's pretty cool. What's interesting is that when they brought the Morpher here, we didn't get this holster. So it is kind of an interesting piece, which is why I kind of wanted to have that here. And as you're seeing in the close-ups, it's pretty neat. It's got two little springy bits and it is really tight and really well manufactured. One of the other things to mention, which I will kind of go over in a few minutes here, is the power coins are much more yellow than what we got. We got a very pale gold, so for whatever the reason that was, that's what we got. However, they did use these other coins, including resin casts for the show. So immediately here is the American version that we got. This one's a little worse for wear. I will be doing a change up of this particular one to being the Dragon Morpher. I got some decals on the way, including some power coins, so I can't wait to change this one up. But right away you can see, first of all, the labeling is not right to Power Rangers, and they made it upside down. Don't know why. Otherwise, it functions exactly the same. My batteries are kind of goofy, although this seems to be working better now. But the whining sound is very similar, I guess. I don't know, but they're otherwise pretty much the same. The molds are the same. As far as I've been able to tell, that they just pretty much directly copied, and it also does fit into the Zyuranger holster. Next up is the Legacy Morpher. Now, I previously did a review on this, so just briefly, the biggest difference is its size comparatively to the previous Morphers. It's, I don't know, something like 20% larger. It does have metal plates, metal coins. The coins are weathered. They are a little bit more robust. They are kind of resculpted, but still just as simple as the originals. When you open it up, the sound effect is different. It does have an on and off switch, unlike the other ones. So you get the power beep, you get that, and the difference of when you hold it. Now, presumably the ones that there were in Japan did have a Zyuranger theme song, and it's pretty cool. The one thing to note is that it does have the gold detailing like in the Zyuranger Morpher. It's also upside right. It has a few details that really work out. I mean, you push the button to top the coin as opposed to twist it in, but it did come with a holster. Now the holster does work pretty much the same. You clip it in, you got your belt one. You can put it in backwards if you want to do the Zyuranger transform. It's really cool, it really works really well, but this is heavy, way heavier than that one. It is also worth noting that this did become an actual prop for being held by Geki from Zyuranger in a crossover episode in Japan before they got their own branded version of this. So it's kind of cool. I've always enjoyed the fact that their toys became our props for 100% and our toy became their prop 100%. I love that. It's kind of neat. Next up, just briefly, is the Lightning Collection Morpher. Now, what's neat about this, just really quickly, is that the coloring and tone does match the original versions. It's plastic. It has more of the gold coin, like the gold metallized coin. They're more detailed. They have the tabs again to kind of twist in. It does have a neat feature about this which is kind of interesting, and that is when you do open it, it speaks and then also changes color, which I'll show here close up in a second, to be the Ranger it is. So it's not completely accurate. It's bulkier. Has some really weird details that I don't know how I feel about it. It's got the red buttons made its return, and it has the Zyuranger gold at the back. I find some of the details are made smaller or tighter for some reason. It seems like the graphics on the front didn't completely expand with the size of the Morpher, but it also did come with its very own holster as well. So really the only one we didn't get a holster was the original, which is too bad. But it goes in exactly the same ways as previously mentioned. Forward, only forward though. You can't do the backward morph, which is just interesting. It's very interesting how Americanized this particular one is. If I was to choose which my favorite was, obviously it's the originals, but I really do like the Legacy. So just kind of want to quickly show a couple of examples here. So here's a coin, the same coin from each of these sets, so you can see what you like. Obviously ours was paler gold than the Zyuranger, which is definitely a deeper gold, a warmer gold even. Then we have the weathered metal coins with the Power Rangers on the other side. And the neat feature of the Lightning ones, again, as they have their tabs back, is the fact that they do have the side view of the Ranger helmet on here as well, which is a neat little detail. I like that. There are some things to really like about the Lightning Collection. There's just some things I just don't like about it. When you compare it to the originals and you look at this, it's literally like the Morpher just keeps getting larger and larger and larger. Even when you're looking at the Zyuranger versus like the American Morpher, you can see that there's some color tone issues, but for the most part, it was used from the same mold, so it's pretty much the most accurate one you can get. Getting an actual Zyuranger Morpher or Dino Buckler was kind of a really cool feature that I really wanted to show here. It's just really neat. Yes, this one's worn out. Yes, the box is a little beaten up. And yes, the Morpher was definitely played with, but that makes it kind of easier for me to have because I like to play with the stuff I have. I like to kind of look at it and see it. I am looking forward to modifying this particular American Morpher. Like I mentioned, I got some labels coming in, so it will look much more like the Zyuranger. We'll have the gold backs and everything from BD15, so I'm looking forward to that. But also it's really interesting to kind of see the evolution of how we look at props and prop replicas and toys and versus that. The Legacy line was definitely meant for a collector of props. They have lots of different things. I've had lots, and I've reviewed quite a few of my items on my channel here, but it's really interesting to see where the target is. Lightning does seem to be much more targeted towards the toy aesthetic so far, but it is interesting to see how far away they got despite getting a little bit closer at the same time. I don't know, it's just really interesting. Which one do you guys like the most? I would really like to hear from you. Which is your favorite version of the Morpher? What do you think of the latest versions, the Legacy and the Lightning? Which one would you go out of your way to find? Would you go out of your way to find an original, or would you like to do you like the Lightning ones? Let me know what you think in the comments below. But anyway, I hope this video has been interesting to you. It's been interesting for me to share this, and I hope you really enjoyed it. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for liking and subscribing these videos. I hope to bring more videos this year, and I will definitely have a video breaking down how I'm gonna fix this up, restore it, paint it gold, and have it ready as my Green Ranger Morpher for sure. But anyway, guys, I will see you next time, but very much thanks for watching.